Hey gals, welcome to Binge Free Bestie, the podcast where we ditch the diets, break free from binge eating, and build a safe and empowered relationship with our bodies. I'm your host, Nick Carberia, a registered therapist who totally gets it. Binge eating and body image struggles? Yep, I've been there, done that, and I've got the therapy bills to prove it. But here's the good news, bestie. I've recovered and I'm here to help you to do the same. This potty is all about real, evidence-based strategies from my therapy practice, plus down-to-earth, relatable girl talk with me and some of my amazing besties and other experts who have their own stories, tips, and tricks to share with you. So, whether you're tired of the diet cycle, ready to ditch the shame spiral, or just want to feel more confident in your own skin, then you've come to the right place. It's time to get real about food freedom, body acceptance, self-care, and building a life you truly love. Let's get into it, besties. Hey besties, welcome back to the Binge Free Bestie podcast. I'm Nick Carberia, registered therapist here in New Zealand, and I'm here to support you in your healing recovery with food, eating, and your body. Today I want to talk about 3 sneaky little diet culture lies that you might still be believing even if you're quite a wee way down the recovery track. These are things that I hear from the women that I'm supporting all the time, even the ones who are really, really deep in their recovery journey. So that's because diet culture is quite insidious. It is quite sneaky. And these lingering beliefs that diet culture leaves behind are like glitter in your carpet, right? You think that you've moved on, but somehow these little insidious diet culture lies just keep showing up in things like your decisions and your thoughts and the way that you still continue to feel about food in your body. So today we're just going to name some of them. We're going to drag them out into the light and we're going to lovingly kick them out of your brain. I hope that sounds good. So lie number 1 is that being healthy means being in a smaller body. Now, this one is sneaky because it sounds really reasonable, right? I mean, it's the lie that we've been force-fed ever since we were little kids, in school, in the doctor's office, on Instagram, and from that one aunt who just won't stop talking about her latest diet that she's on. You see, we've been told that smaller equals healthier, and smaller equals more desirable. Smaller equals more in control. And so we've internalized this idea so much that our bodies are projects that we should be working on, and that health is something that you see, okay? And if you can't see abs or a thigh gap, then you're doing something wrong. But, and I want to say this with love, bestie, we're going to set the record straight. Because you can actually be in a smaller body and be deeply unwell. Conversely, you can also be in a larger body and be really vibrant and nourished and thriving. So we know this already, and I've chatted with this topic before, and we know that health is not a dress size. We know that. Even when you're down the road with your recovery journey, we do come to a place of accepting that I don't have to be smaller to be healthy. But like I said, it's just so internalized from many, many, many years of conditioning. So this thought, like I said, is insidious, and it does tend to pop up in women, even women who are quite the way down the recovery track. We know that the BMI is bullshit now. We know it's a really rubbish way of indicating whether somebody is healthy or not. And we know that health is not based on how many people are praising your transformation or the way that you look on the outside. We know this. The kicker, the real kicker here, is that the pursuit of thinness in the name of health often wrecks your actual health. So things like weight cycling, chronic stress from restriction, or disordered eating behaviors, just like binge eating, all of these things are health risks, and they come directly from the act of trying to shrink your body. But somehow we still praise that shrinkage. So really, it's time to redefine what healthy means. Because if your mental health is completely shot and your relationship with food is totally chaotic and your nervous system is in that constant fight or flight mode, just in order for you to maintain that smaller body, then that's not health. That is not health, and that's not living. That's just survival mode. And survival mode whilst meeting society's beauty and body standards. But it's not really worth it, is it? So if your brain is continuing to equate having a smaller body with a better life, I just want you to know that that is not a personal failure, that thought is popping into your mind. That is diet culture doing what it does best, and that is disguising that oppression and that restriction as empowerment. So thank you for being here in Binge Free Bestie community, because what we are doing is we will be burning that belief to the ground, and we're going to be building something even better in its place, because you deserve to be nourished, you deserve to be regulated, you deserve to be respected, and you deserve to feel safe in any body, at any shape, at any size. Your body's not the problem, it's the messaging around your body. So that's the first lie. The first thing I just wanted to highlight, that diet culture still might be whispering in your ear, even if you have already started your healing journey and started making really big shifts and changes. So what's lie number 2? Lie number 2 is that if I just eat normally, and if you're listening to the audio version of this, I'm doing little hyphens in the air. Normally, if I just eat normally, my body will shrink. Yeah, well, that is a secret fantasy that many women have when they come into my program, the breakup, or they start working with me. There is this kind of unspoken hope, and they do usually admit it, but there is an unspoken hope that if we do it right, i.e. if I just start eating normally, then magically I'm going to start getting smaller and I'm going to heal my relationship with food because of that, and everything's going to be fine and dandy. You see, our body, we think that our body will quietly shrink in the background while we are working on letting go of food obsession. But the thing is, that's really giving diet culture in recovery clothing. You know, what's it? Wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what I'm trying to say there. This is the sneakiest lie of all, right? Because when it feels like you're doing the recovery work, and you really are, you're eating the carbs, finally. You've deleted MyFitnessPal. You're buying bread and you're eating it. But deep down, there's still that little voice whispering saying, if I'm doing this perfectly, soon I'll finally be thin and I'll be healed and I'll be glowing and I'll be effortlessly hot in every photo. I'm going to feel so confident and amazing. But here's the thing. Your body knows when you're still trying to micromanage it. It can feel that tension, right? It feels that you're dysregulated. It feels that you're anxious about food. It feels that you're still feeling unsafe. And so it senses when your intuitive eating or your food freedom actually still has some conditions on it. That constant hum of anxiety around your portion sizes or eating clean after a binge. Yeah, that's your nervous system telling you that it still doesn't feel safe. So true healing doesn't come from making peace with food or still secretly holding your breath and hoping for weight loss. You're still controlling yourself. You're still working from that place of fear. I want to hit pause though, and I do want to say this is a really valid thought to be having. You're still allowed to have weight loss goals, okay? And it's also really normal to be thinking this way, again, because you've been so conditioned by diet culture all of your life. Of course you'd want to be in a smaller body. Of course you'd want to be thin. Of course you would want to meet the standards. That is only natural. But while you're working on healing your relationship with food, I always tell all of my clients, please let's just pop that goal on the back burner for now. I'm not saying you have to abandon it for the rest of your life. Your body, your rules, your prerogative. I'm not going to say, take that away. I'm not taking that away from you. Okay, but you cannot heal your relationship with food, end the binge eating, learn to love and accept your body, whilst also be chasing a weight loss goal. Because the way that you lose weight is through restriction, which is the thing that almost always is causing the binge eating. Okay? And the thing that makes you want to lose the weight is body dissatisfaction. And that again is another huge trigger and driver behind your binge and emotional eating. So you can see the two cannot live together harmoniously. You can't have one and the other. In this case, you actually can't have your cake and eat it. You can't be chasing weight loss and healing your binge eating disorder. You just can't, okay? So real recovery, what does that actually look like then? Real recovery means letting your body take the lead. For now, right? Let your body take the lead for the first time. Start nourishing her without demanding that she performs or presents in a certain way. And just trust that when healing is the goal, not shrinking, it'll all come with time. Because what's really ironic is when your body starts to trust you, trust that nourishment is always available, trust that you're not going to make her do 1,000 burpees, trust that you're not trying to manipulate, trust that you're not bullying, trust that you're not manipulating her anymore. That's when she starts to feel safe, your body. Starts to feel regulated, grounded. It's when she starts to settle in her own time and in her own way. And what's going to happen is if there is excess weight, and once you do reach that true place of food freedom, then the excess weight will slowly shift and dissipate over time. That's what happens. But as I said, if you keep trying to restrict because you have that weight loss goal, it's really hard to reach that true place of food freedom, that long-lasting, sustainable place, because this weight loss goal is continuing to keep you stuck. I hope that's helpful. So let's do the final lie. That is lie number 3. The lie that diet culture continues to whisper in your ear, or the lie that you tell yourself that continues to whisper in your own ear, is that once I start this recovery journey, once I get 6 months down the track, 1 year down the track, a couple of years down the track, I shouldn't still be struggling with this issue. Okay, and I want to say this with lots of love, and I want to say this really loudly and clearly. You are not behind, and you are not broken. You are not behind, and you are not broken, okay? Recovery is not like a Disney movie montage with a perfect glow up arc and a triumph at the end, okay? It's real, it's raw, and it's often very messy. So sometimes it will look like taking 2 steps forward and then 1 back. And sometimes it will be laying on your bed crying over the cupcake, or it might be, that's not a sign of your failure. That's really, really not. That is a sign of being human who's going through a real, messy, raw recovery journey. And you see, diet culture has conditioned us to believe that any kind of slip up or wobble that we have or detour on our journey means that we've failed. Because we know that diet culture is very black or white. It's very much all or nothing. You're either doing good on your diet, you're doing bad on the diet. You've either achieved your weight loss goal, you haven't achieved your weight loss goal. You're a good girl, you're a bad girl, So if you binge eat, and just say you haven't binged in a couple of months, and then one day a binge happens, you get this wave of shame or guilt or hatred towards yourself. And it is so easy to just spiral and think, like, for God's sake, I should just be over this by now. What the heck is this happening for? But I want you to know that if that does happen, it's kind of to be expected on any recovery journey, okay? It does not mean that you're back at square one, and it just means that you're meeting a new edge on your healing, okay? You haven't done anything wrong. You're still doing the work. Your brain is still unlearning decades and decades of conditioning. And so you're doing it, actually, to add to that, yeah, you're undoing decades and decades of conditioning, but you're still having to live in this society. The society that is constantly triggering you, that is constantly sending you messages that you need to be thin, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to work harder, you must be productive, you must be successful, you must be beautiful, you must whatever the messaging you're getting is. When you're in a recovery journey, you're not doing it in a vacuum. So this is why I say it's to be expected that there'll be wobbles, and even after maybe a few months binge free, you might have a binge because again, this society just becomes like too much, or life throws you a curveball that is actually really hard to manage. And so you turn back to one of your old coping strategies, which might be food. It's okay. Instead of spiraling, all I need you to do is just pause, breathe, and speak gently to yourself and say, hey, you know what? I'm still learning. This doesn't undo all of my progress so far. I'm safe. I'm okay. And I can be kind to myself. Self-compassion, like what I just demonstrated there, it's not fluffy. And I know sometimes it can get a bad rap as being like really woo-woo, but self-compassion is radical. It is a tool. It is a science-backed tool, actually, and it is something that can really, really carry you through to the next stage of your recovery journey. So just remember that every time you do have a binge or a slip up or something like that, it's just an invitation. It's an invitation to learn something new about yourself. It's an invitation to tend to yourself, but it is not an invitation to punish yourself. Okay, and that's probably what you did in the past, because of course you did. We are taught to punish ourselves if we do something like fall off the diet or have a binge episodes. We are taught we punish ourselves through eating less the next day by moving an excessive amount of, doing those 1,000 burpees because I had a binge yesterday. That's punishing yourself, and we don't do that anymore when we're in a recovery journey. So know that every hard day that you have along the way is just a cue to soften. It's not a cue to tighten the reins. Every step that you're taking right now counts. And I would say even the shaky ones are probably the most important ones, because as I said, opportunities for learning, opportunities for growth, opportunities to show your body that she can trust you. Okay? So let's stop measuring our success by how perfect you're doing this whole recovery thing. And let's start measuring it by how much grace that you're giving yourself when things are really hard. Just an idea. So what comes next? Next, I want you to just take a breath, maybe grab your journal if you have one. I really suggest that if you haven't got one, get yourself a beautiful journal and dedicate it to this work that we're doing here together. Create a space for yourself to be able to really create a dedicated space where you can dive deep, where you can feel safe, where you can ask yourself, like what we've listened to today, which of these lies, which of these beliefs are still lingering for me? If you name them, you take away their power. If you name them, they come down off the pedestal. Once you see them clearly, you take the power back. Okay? You deserve a full spectrum of freedom with food. And not just from the binges, not just from the diets, but from the beliefs that just continually say that your body and you are the problem. So if you're ready to go deeper and you actually want to rewire those beliefs, you want to regulate your nervous system, and you are ready to break the binge restrict cycle for good, then you know where to find me. I'm right here. In my signature program, The Breakup, is where we can do the work together. So if you're feeling that little niggle in your gut, that little pull that says, you know what, I think I am actually ready, then I would absolutely love to invite you into the breakup. Because what I'm doing there in that space is not just another diet plan, it's not another tracker, and it's not another temporary fix. It is an 8-week, step-by-step, no bullshit program that's going to help you to stop the binge and emotional eating. It's going to help you to heal your nervous system, build that body trust, and finally feel at peace with food without needing to change your body to be worthy. So part of the breakup, you're getting over $1,500 worth of bonuses when you join up. That includes like a really cool mindfulness and nervous system reset library that I've created, meditations, EFT tapping. You get a beautiful binge-free handbook, which is tailored just for you. You get lifetime access to 8 transformational therapist-led learning videos that are going to take you step by step from, feeling out of control with food to that food freedom that we've been talking about. So if you're keen for that, head to the show notes. Enrollment is open. Just click on the link and you'll find yourself where you need to be. If you want to connect with me or you have any questions, you can find me over on Instagram at BingeFreeBestie. I love connecting with my community, so please, even if it's not asking a question, just come in and say hi and let me know that you've joined the community so that I can welcome you with big open arms. So thank you so much for listening today, bestie. I hope this has been helpful. If the episode hit home, send it to somebody who needs it, or leave me a review so that more women can find the work that I'm doing. Wishing you all the best and hope you have a fabulous day. Sending you the biggest love. Ciao for now.